Would you look at the time? Would you look at the date? Hello and welcome back to Curiosity Mine, and welcome to something a little bit unusual. A couple of weeks ago I had the opportunity to meet up with Mike, also known as Fraxyl, who you may be unfamiliar with, but you've probably heard many times because Mike has provided score and background music for Curiosity Mine videos going back over the last 40 or 50 videos. So I've been planning to do a Curiosity Mine Q&A video for some time, but it just hasn't happened. So we thought we'd use the opportunity to do a Q&A with a bit of a technological twist. For this video, we've asked ChatGPT, which is an artificial intelligence system built by OpenAI that will basically give you whatever you asked for within reason. So we asked it for a lot of Q&A questions appropriate to our backgrounds and to our projects. And we also asked it for some completely, genuinely random and weird questions as well.
We should probably mention all these questions were done by ChatGPT. Not that we're shilling for OpenAI or anything, that's just how we got the questions.
Yeah, we just asked ChatGPT to make questions somewhat tailored to us, and this is the randomness that ensued.
Your questions are blue, yeah?
Yes.
Alrighty. What do you think makes a great YouTube video?
Not sucking. It needs to be entertaining and interesting, and if your goal is to make educational videos, maybe it needs to teach people something. What makes a good video? I don't know, it needs to have some value to it. There's a purpose to continue watching. If you could speak any fictional language fluently, what language would you choose?
Probably Elvish. That's the only fictional language that I can think of on the top of my head. Although, he did kind of take it from fiction to like thinking about it so much that he's got the entire font set and how that works, but I don't really know any elves, so they're fictional.
Yeah.
If you were a fruit, what fruit would you be and why? What fruit would you hope to never be?
Depends on how you look at the life cycle of a fruit. Like, are we talking about successful fruit, or are we talking about like fruit that's going to get eaten? Do I not want to get eaten as a fruit, or do I want to get eaten so I can, propagate the species of fruit tree? If I want to be a successful fruit, then I don't know, apple, maybe. I don't know that apples are really successful fruit, because we've bred apples to have like heaps of meat and minimal seeds, and then we throw the core away. So unless the apple trees grow in a landfill, that's... I don't want to be a durian.
No. I've heard so many stories about durians.
Are there Asian countries where there's signs on the trains that legitimately say, "Do not open a durian on this train"?
Oh, maybe.
If you could only wear one colour for the rest of your life, what colour would it be?
Hypercolour.
Ooh, nice.
But probably like green. Let's go yellow one.
Righto.
What's the most bizarre food combination you've ever tried that actually tasted good?
I actually have an answer to that. Although it's not good for anyone who's gluten intolerant or lactose intolerant. I was house sitting once, and I got to the house that I was house sitting at really late at night, and I forgot to go shopping before I went there. I was like, oh crap, I'm hungry, it's 11 o'clock at night, nothing's open, what am I going to do? And I went through the freezer at this place I was house sitting at, and I found raisin toast. There was no bread, I forgot to buy bread. And in the fridge I found sliced cheddar cheese. And honestly, you haven't lived until you've had a cheese toasty on raisin toast. It works.
Yeah.
It's decent.
Taste is a very subjective subject, because I tend to do some weird things sometimes. Like, I remember as a kid doing tomato sauce on ice cream. I thought that was alright. It was just vanilla ice cream, I think.
That has a threatening aura.
It does. At work, I did hot chips and Nutella. That was pretty good. Salty and chocolatey.
Ah, it's like a dessert poutine.
Yeah.
It's like a whole paragraph.
Yeah.
Can you talk about some of the most unconventional instruments, sound sources, or techniques that you've used in your compositions?
I tried to make a synthesizer where I was counting.
Number 8. Number 8. Number 8.
So I said 1 a lot of times in different pitches and velocities and did that for all the numbers.
Like 1.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I put it into the sampler and it sounded terrible, so I never did that again. Blue. If you could time travel to any period, where and when would you go?
The 90s.
90s? Didn't you already do that?
Technically, I time travelled through the 90s at a rate of 1 minute per minute.
Yeah.
No, totally the 90s.
How many paradoxes would you make?
I don't think I was alive in the 90s, so I don't think I have any danger of like preventing my own conception or anything like that. Back to the Future style. I mostly would observe, but I would avoid paradoxes, but I'm sure it's inevitable, butterfly effect and all that.
Yeah, just being there. So basically don't time travel.
Yeah, and only go forwards, slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me.
It is.
It is. There you go. Can you talk about any specific artists, musicians, authors, or other creators who have had a significant influence on your work?
Probably Radiohead. I remember hearing them back on the radio back in the day, and it just blew my mind. And they're one of the few bands where every single album that comes out, except for the very latest one, it's kind of like, I think they might be losing it, but yeah, Radiohead's probably like my benchmark. It's a very long list because everything influences everything else.
That's true too.
Authors, Douglas Adams, his kind of zany science fiction.
I feel like the AI has missed the mark a little with this question because I don't know quite how an author can influence music, but...
Well, if you're writing lyrics and that sort of stuff, or
Cool.
maybe you just have a thought about a concept that an author's, like all the Philip K. Dick science fiction stuff, that can be like a concept you can build songs from. Have you ever had a video that performed unexpectedly positively or negatively?
Yes, I can give an example for both actually. Positively, I made a video many years ago with Graham Anderson, the backyard scientist and pottery magician or something, where he was melting glass bottles in an electric kiln. It was the simplest video ever. It was just an afternoon where he just took some bottles, put them in a kiln, and they stretched out, and it looked cool.
Yeah.
It's had a phenomenal amount of views for no reason that I can fathom. I'm not complaining, and thank you, Graham, but yeah, that one really surprised me. It went nuts. And the ones that didn't perform well, that really still disappoint me to this day, are the ones about Wee Warosaurus, which started with the one called How Do You Get a Dinosaur Named After You? I thought that was going to be bigger,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't. And sorry, Mike, I guess that's just not this mic, the other mic. I guess that's just how the YouTube dice roll. But yeah.
Not everybody gets a dinosaur named after them.
No, unfortunately. I'll keep working towards it.
Russelsaurus?
Yeah, Russelsaurus. I'm going yellow.
Yeah.
Alright. If you could live in any movie, what would it be?
Back to the Future, Part 2, 2015, which is still going
Still the
back in
past.
time now.
No, it's the future.
Yeah. But the hoverboards, flying cars,
Yeah.
magical jackets that dry you after your rain.
Your jacket is now dry.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
talking jackets, because everybody would want to hear that.
Antique dustbusters. Pizzas that inflate. That didn't look so appealing. Oh, it's a yellow one. I have to have an answer for that as well. I want to say Jurassic Park because dinosaurs, but I don't want to say Jurassic Park because eaten by dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I'd be the guy on the toilet. I got to think of this sensibly. It has to be a universe that you would survive in, because what's the point otherwise? So if you could live in any movie, what would it be?
I mean, people barely survive in this universe, to be honest.
Fair point. No, screw it. I'm going Jurassic Park. I want to see dinosaurs even if they eat me.
Yes. How do you stay motivated to continue creating content for YouTube?
I make videos with other people because then I'm obligated to release them. If I make videos with myself, they just sit in a folder on my desktop and I never edit them and nothing ever happens with them. But as long as I've involved someone else in the video, then I feel that I have an obligation to that person to make sure that the videos come out. The videos that I make, I feel like they're contributing something. It's not, you know, I have nothing against YouTube channels that don't do much. But if I was making content that doesn't go anywhere and doesn't do anything, I wouldn't necessarily feel compelled to continue. But because I'm contributing to something that, you know, creates an archive of interesting history and stuff like that, I feel like, you know, that there is motivation to continue because there's value to what I'm doing. On that note, I've got like 3 other channels that do not have any purpose whatsoever, and my motivation to do anything on any of those is 0. So, yeah.
The entertainment value.
Yeah, there's that, I suppose. But yeah, I haven't uploaded anything on any of those channels in forever. So that was me.
Yeah.
And that's you. Okay, I've got a green one there.
I mean, we could
I've forgotten how this works.
go out of order. We could just chop it up later.
If you were a planet,
A planet?
what kind of planet would you be, and why? Why would you be a planet?
Probably because the atoms just happen to smash together that way. I'd probably be one on the cusp of a black hole. There's a small one out of the way that you can't really see because there's billions and trillions and squillions of planets out in the universe.
Yeah, it's cool to be a black hole because you get a score by Hans Zimmer.
Can you tell us about a video or series that you're particularly proud of and why?
Yeah, there's 2. I just like how they turned out. So the first one is, again, Graham Anderson, because he just contributes to really cool videos. The one where we did the night of Raku pottery firing, and the reason I enjoyed that one so much is because it was just documenting an evening of doing stuff. It wasn't necessarily a beginning, middle and end sort of story, although we made it into one, but there was a ton of B-roll and just people having fun and cool footage, and it went together nicely and it felt like a little adventure. And the other one that I pushed hard to make that ended up turning out really cool and has been reasonably successful was the one about things that aren't opal but kind of look like opal.
Yeah.
There was a lot of work went into that, gathering all the bits and pieces and finding out what sort of optical properties occurred in different things, and it turned out really cool, and it's been reasonably successful, so I'm counting that one as a win.
Woo!
How do you decide when a project is finished, it's in the quotation marks, or ready to be shared?
Basically when I'm tired of fiddling with it.
True art is never finished, only abandoned.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's like, well, that's as much as I can do to it, so might as well finish it there.
I suppose I'm answering your questions now. With a ready to be shared bit, I usually at the point at which I share something with someone and they go, yeah, that's great, that's where it stops.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, if it's good enough to get a yeah, that's great, then that's
Someone
it.
else validated it.
Yeah,
So
no further effort required.
stamp of approval, out you go.
Yep.
If you could live in any fictional world, where would you choose to live?
I feel like that's on the verge of questions we've had already.
Yeah.
Fictional world, Star Trek universe. I mean, come on, they've got holes in the wall to give you food.
Yeah. Everybody loves food. Do you reckon anybody would go up to a replicator and get a food and then give it a bad review?
Is Yelp and TripAdvisor part of the system?
I just a Karen. I went to this replicator. It took 2 seconds when it was supposed to take 1 second. It gave me a bagel with nothing on it, and it was dry.
Oh man, I want to start replicatorreviews.com. That's a bad idea. What's the weirdest thing you've seen someone do in public?
I find it hard to find things weird anymore, but people, like, just the people who feel the need to yell out random stuff. I remember one New Year's Eve I was walking home and someone decided they liked the look of my hat, and they said, that guy's got a hat, let's get it.
That's some aggressive hat attitude.
Yeah.
Weirdest thing I've seen someone do in public is fart. Bear with me. Freezing cold, Melbourne, railway station, like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm catching a train to go to Melbourne to go to Sydney, and there was one other person on the railway station platform all the way up the other end. They're standing underneath a light. It's like a film noir sort of scene. This person, like trench coat sort of person, waiting to catch their train, and they farted. It's the middle of winter in Melbourne. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. It was freezing, and this little cloud just goes. Pff. It was hilarious. No one else was there to laugh, and the person obviously thought they got away with it. But yeah, that's the weirdest thing I've seen someone do in public.
Another yellow one.
Ooh, double yellow.
Oh, it's a stupid question. Imagine you're in a store and you can only buy one item. What is it you buy and why?
Hang on, let's unpack this. Imagine you're in a store. I've got that bit.
Which store is it?
Bunnings.
Ooh.
Store that immediately comes to mind. Gee, I wonder why. Alright, so you're in Bunnings. You can only buy one item. What is it and why? Why are we at Bunnings?
I'm not at Bunnings.
Why am I at Bunnings? That answers my question. Then I'll buy the one item I went there for. Which is an absolute lie, because you can't buy one item at Bunnings. You go there for one item and come out with a hammer and 3 power tools and a gazebo.
Bunnings would sell a gazebo, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a innocuous and vague question.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even imagine you're in a store and you can have one item for free. That would be more compelling. It's like, ChatGPT, you have failed us in this one question out of 190.
I'm going to be in Woolworths and get some mochi bites.
Yeah,
Like
fair enough.
ice cream wrapped in rice for some reason.
Whoa, it's a double liner. If you could have any superpower, but it had to be completely useless, what would it be?
I think being able to predict when a door opens, that would be pretty useless.
Prevent that awkward situation where someone opens like a fire escape or something and you're standing there.
Or just if you're about to walk out a door that's like opaque and there's someone on the other side, they want to come in.
It'd be handy to be able to predict when a door won't open. So if you're like approaching automatic doors and they're not working, you don't just...
That normally happens to me. If you could have any job in the world, real or imaginary, what would it be and where?
I've always wanted to make movies, so I suppose the serious answer would be like film director, but it's boring. Astronaut.
Yeah, astronaut's kind of limited in where you could work though.
Yeah, space is only like one location. I'm sick of this place. I don't want to be an astronaut in space anymore.
I mean, unless you want to go to the moon or the space station.
Yeah. Oh, moon missions are looking like they're going to happen again soon.
Yeah.
So anything's possible.
Hurry up and get to the moon again.
Yeah. Do moon. Do moon. Can you talk about your creative process for writing and producing music? That strikes me as a yes or no question.
Yes.
Excellent. Next.
Creative process, the idea comes from who knows where, or usually YouTube video, or here's a handy tip for the software you use, and I go, okay, I start doing that, and then a 20-second loop happens and I listen to that for 3 hours, and then I go, well, shut that down and go to bed because I'm tired. And then sometimes I open up again and I go, hey, that's not bad, and add some more bits to it.
I have a similar creative process, but it's kind of like it all starts as an accident. It's like just mash some stuff together, and then if that happens to work, just build on it. If it doesn't, then just don't save the file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 lines.
Oh boy.
What are some of the ethical considerations that arise when making videos about a specific place or community, and how do you navigate these issues?
Okay. Ethical considerations. I generally try not to make people look like idiots. Like, I try really hard to make the subject matter experts that I work with actually come across as subject matter experts, because they are and they deserve that.
Yeah.
I try to be sensitive to the communities that I work with, because the whole point of what I do is to set out to present things in a good light and educate people and maybe encourage a few tourists to visit some places. Yeah, it's just being mindful of what you're doing and the impact that it's going to have. And I did have one video once that I had to cut a chunk out of after it was published, because we said some things that I didn't think at the time were necessarily a little sensitive and maybe not what we should have said, and I cut them out after the fact, and miraculously YouTube's cut stuff out after the fact system worked flawlessly and no one would ever know. But yeah, like sometimes it's an after the fact consideration because someone comes up and says, you know, that thing you said, maybe you shouldn't have said it. So generally try not to say those things in the first place, but sometimes it happens. Green question. What's your favourite memory from the early days of the internet?
I really like the fact that you could go on the internet, but then I think the technology at the time kind of hindered that. It's like, wow, you can look at all these things and you look at one thing and it takes 10 hours to load. I guess there's also a lot less advertising as well. You can watch YouTube and everything. It's like,
Yeah.
we want your money, so we're going to put as many ads in as possible to irritate the hell out of you.
I miss the wholesomeness of the old internet, and I realise there's irony in saying that because there was some horrible stuff on the old internet as well, but I miss that the old internet wasn't just a bunch of multinational companies that were out to steal your data and money.
Yeah.
And there was so much stuff that could only have existed in that little window of time. It's like GeoCities websites dedicated to this one specific niche thing.
Yes.
It's all gone now.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that. I had like this massive list of bookmarks that was just random internet stuff. All gone. It just
Yeah.
doesn't work anymore. It's not a Facebook page, no one cares. That's a big piece of blue paper.
Big point size.
Oh.
How has the town changed since you were growing up there, and what do you think the future holds for Lightning Ridge?
It's changed a lot because the internet, I'm blaming the internet for a lot of things in this video.
That's okay.
The internet, among other things, has made the world smaller and it's made distances shorter and it's brought people together. So when I grew up in Lightning Ridge, there was no internet and it was like this tiny little isolated community. A lot of people call it an unfenced lunatic asylum. But it felt super isolated and even to the point where you don't realise it's isolated because you have no contact with the outside world and you think, you know, everything you can see is all there is.
Yeah.
I feel like now with the internet and with connectivity between people and mobile phones and social media and all this wonderful stuff we've got now, that it's not as isolated as it used to be. The population has certainly decreased, which is unfortunate. There were a lot of changes in the opal industry. It's not what it used to be. In the 90s, it was like this massive multi-million-dollar thing, and now it's kind of dwindled away a bit. So those things have changed. As far as the future, there's some really good things coming. There's new roads opening up at the moment, which is cool. There's going to be a new entrance to town soon. We've got the Australian Opal Centre on the horizon. That horizon is a lot closer than it used to be. So that's going to be awesome when that opens up and we get a new community centre and cultural centre and museum and all of those wonderful things. And I think that's going to hopefully spawn a whole bunch of additional growth, and it's going to be it's going to be a big change. So looking forward to that. I'm going yellow. It's going to be yellow alert. Imagine you're able to have a conversation with your future self. What advice would you ask for, and would you take the advice?
If my future self from like the future came back to me now, I might take advice. But when I was a kid, I would just be like, who is this strange man talking to me? I've often thought about like, if I could travel back and tell myself things, what would I tell myself? But other than get stock in Apple or something stupid like that, that might have too many paradoxical effects. This one person bought all the stock in Apple and now Apple's defunct. Never.
Yeah. Actually, that is an interesting paradox. Like, you can go and buy all the stock in Apple so that you have a controlling interest in Apple, and then your control drives the whole thing into the ground and there is no Apple. So everyone's getting around with a banana phone.
I think the banana phone would be a much better product.
What advice would I ask for? I'm going to reverse it as well because it works better that way. I would totally tell myself to buy stock in banana.
Buy stock in banana because that Michael guy's going to ruin Apple.
Yeah.
This one's a big slip of paper for one tiny question. What's the most peculiar dream you've ever had?
I don't know because I don't normally remember my dreams. I can't give an answer to a specific dream that I've had. Oh, hang on. Are we talking like dream, fell asleep and hallucinated? Or are we talking dream like this is something I wanted to do in the future?
I don't know. I think if you can't think of one, then go with the other.
No, I'll go with sleep hallucinations. I don't have a specific dream, but I do have a weird location that showed up in a whole bunch of my dreams.
Yeah.
It's a shopping centre with a railway station underneath.
Nice.
And a bunch of escalators. I don't know why, but for years I have seen this shopping centre in my dreams, to the point that if I have a dream and I see the shopping centre, I know it's a dream, because the place doesn't exist.
That's a
the
blue
wrong
one.
colour. That looked green, I swear. If you could teleport anywhere in the world, real or imaginary, because there's imaginary places in the world,
Yeah.
where would you go?
A couple of years ago, I went to Portland and they have this ice cream shop called 42 Below, and they flatten the ice cream out and then roll it up with a scooper, not a scooper, like a flat piece of metal. So it's got one flat piece of metal and then you get another flat piece of metal to roll up the ice cream. So you pick the ice cream that you want and you put things into the ice cream and then they flatten it out and then they roll it up and it's really delicious. If I could just teleport back there, they would have a lot of money from me. Let's get deep into the skull. Have you faced any challenges with video production, such as filming, audio, or lighting? Have you ever been struck by lightning while filming?
No. Yeah, audio always sucks. It's always a challenge. Yep. Specific examples, the ones that we shot underground, there was a lot of bass in the audio. I had to pull all of that out manually. Aside from that, no, it's just the typical challenges of video production. Any time you do something,
You don't find that out until you start doing it and then you go, oh, there's problems.
Usually don't find out until you start editing it, and then it's like, I've got to fix all this crap in post, and I should have thought about this way beforehand and got it right the first time, because there really shouldn't be any fix it in post, but there's always fix it in post.
You get into the mystery questions.
The green one. If you could have any imaginary creature as a best friend, what creature would you choose?
I guess a sort of land-dwelling octopus that can hover around. That'd be neat. They're smart and they got lots of legs, so you can hold all these things, please.
I'm picturing like the chubby pink octopus from the Konami games.
What?
No? Okay. I grew up in a different 90s.
Yeah.
That guy! Anywho.
Should get a Parodius and put it here.
Yeah, I'll do that. Right. Was that... Oh no, that was... sorry.
This way.
Going the wrong way.
How did you get started on YouTube and what inspired you to create content?
I plagiarized other people.
Yeah.
Seriously though, I did. I absolutely plagiarized other people. I started off interested in YouTube education, like that category on YouTube. I thought I can have a go at that one day. Never really had any motivation to do it, but there's a guy on YouTube called Brady Harron. You know Brady? You've probably encountered him at some point because he's got like...
The engineering guy?
No.
Okay, that's the only Brady I know.
Grady.
That's yeah, Grady.
Yeah.
Brady.
And there's another Brady too. Brady Harron has like 36 YouTube channels.
Yeah.
So he's famous for...
You might remember me from such instructional videos as
number file periodic
yeah.
videos. That's the guy.
Number file. I know
he's
that guy.
from South Australia.
Oh, okay.
Lives in England. And he has all these channels which are really successful, and 60 Symbols is another one. He has a channel called Objectivity, which is based on items in museums. Specifically, it's based on items in the Royal Society in London. He goes there, he drags stuff out, shows them off to people. I was watching that channel, and then I realised that I too have access to a museum, so I thought, why don't I go and talk to the people at the wonderful Australian Opal Centre?
Yeah.
And see if we can drag some things out of storage and talk about them. Especially relevant because at the time the Australian Opal Centre did not have a physical museum to show any of this stuff off to people.
Yeah.
So it was a good opportunity for both of us, and we did that, and I made a video about crayfish gastroliths, and that's where it all started. So it's Brady Harron's fault. Sorry Brady, I stole your idea.
It's not really. It's an inspiration.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know why I'm apologising. I've got 4,000 subscribers and he's got 6 channels with millions each, but you know.
Maybe it's the same million people on 6 channels though.
That is entirely plausible. They just follow Brady around. It's just his little entourage of 1 million people. A really long limo.
Or a really short limo that just has an infinite amount of space inside.
Yeah, it's Hilbert's limo. Oh, okay. If you could be any fictional character for a day, who would you be? Only for a day, 24 hours.
Homer Simpson, because he gets into hijinks and it's hilarious, and then by the end of the day, it's all back to normal.
He's had a hell of a lot of careers too.
Yeah.
Every second episode, new job. yet never seems to lose his job at
The power plant.
Yeah.
How do you handle negative comments or criticism on your videos?
Don't engage.
Yeah,
Don't engage.
it's like any comment sections, really.
Yeah, don't be that person. To be fair, though, I've had, this is going to jinx me, I know, but I've had very, very, very little negative criticism and comments and trolls and stuff. I feel like my subject matter is just a little bit too niche to attract them. It's like there's not an army of people out there with their keyboards at the ready who want to go and complain on Lightning Ridge and Opal videos.
Yeah.
I have had a few. I tend to just not engage. Like, I get some weird comments every now and then. I quite often just put a like on it and move on. It's like, thank you for contributing to my YouTube algorithm.
What's the strangest thing that someone said?
I can't remember what video it was on, but someone left a comment. I think it was on one of the, show off a whole bunch of opalized fossils ones, and
Yeah.
it had like tree fossils and shell fossils and turtle fossils and stuff. And someone left a comment on it that just says, "Yeah, had me until dinosaur." It was like, so you believe there were old trees, you believe there were old turtles, you're absolutely fine with old crayfish, you have no concept that there were ever dinosaurs, you hate this idea. Will not accept dinosaurs.
If you're out there and you hate dinosaurs, that's very strange.
Yeah, if you're watching my channel and you hate dinosaurs, like, what brought you here? Leave a comment.
There's a dinosaur in the logo.
Yeah, it's like literally from the absolute beginning, I'm selling you dinosaurs, and you came and you lost it at the dinosaur. I'm going to get a t-shirt printed that says "You had me until dinosaur." I think in the future I'm just going to get all terrible YouTube comments printed on t-shirts. Yeah.
Scraping the bottle of the bottom.
There's still a surprising amount in there. This is... If you could live in any kind of house or dwelling, regardless of practicality, what would it be?
It'd probably have to be something unusual looking, but very brutalist architecture, like concrete
blocks.
black angles.
Yeah. Nice.
But also something that has like foresty jungle around it. So as much as I like a lawn, I like lots of plants just that people can't just go, what's in there?
What's going on in that brutalist castle?
And then you could probably hide a dinosaur in there as well, so if someone intruded, they would not intrude very far.
Well, according to these questions, you can have a dinosaur. So
Have a dinosaur. Let's go a yellow one.
Righto. What's the worst that can happen?
Imagine you have the ability to switch lives with one person for a day. Who do you choose and why? I already answered that. That's the same as my question.
That is literally the same as, I guess I'll just answer that one as well then.
Yeah.
I feel like the smart answer is like President of the United States or something. So you can find out how the sausage is made. Who would I swap lives with for one day? Jeff Bezos, because I get his memories and stuff and like his bank account details, and then I can just transfer everything out. That would work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Done.
Can I have 25% on that?
Yeah, deal.
Sweet.
Yeah, you read the question, so yeah. You've done the work.
Do another one for you.
Righto.
If you could have any animal as a pet, regardless of practicality, what would it be, and what would you do for this pet's first birthday?
Okay, that started off fairly predictable, and then it just went way off the rails. I'm going dinosaur.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be a dinosaur. It's like
What sort of... Can you narrow it down to a specific genre of dinosaur?
Genre of dinosaur.
Post-rock dinosaur.
I feel like a velociraptor would be a convenient sort of guard dog, but I also feel like I'd probably lose my life to it. So I'd maybe want to go one of the little plant-eating dinosaurs. It's safe, but I mean it's still a dinosaur, so no one's going to mess with it. Probably not going to eat me. Yeah, I'd go with that. Small plant-eating dinosaur.
Yeah.
And what would I do on its first birthday? Nothing, because I don't celebrate pets' birthdays, but I don't know.
That's fair enough. I don't do that either.
Get it a cake, a dinosaur birthday cake made from whatever dinosaurs eat.
Plants.
A plant cake. I get it a plant cake. Who wrote these
What would you
things?
name the dinosaur?
Bob.
Happy birthday, Bob.
Barry the dinosaur.
Barry's also a good name.
Oh, it's a serious one. That's sad. Can you share about...
I can share about.
I feel like there's a word missing here, but I'm going to work with it.
Yeah.
Can you share about some of your favourite or most memorable compositions and what you learned from creating them?
There's one that I keep trying to recreate because I lost the MP3 called Sunflowers, and it was like the most bright and happy thing that if I could get an orchestra to record, it would probably sound pretty good. It's like do 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 do. It sounds like something you'd see in a very cheesy children's cartoon. Is that the entire question?
Did you learn anything from creating Sunflowers?
It's a melody that sticks in my head, so I guess I didn't really learn how to do that. It's just something that happened. And always back up your files because the hard drive that they're on will probably fail and you lose it forever.
Man, this is going to be fun to edit.
How do you make sure your videos maintain a high standard of scientific accuracy while also making it accessible to a lay audience?
I make sure that the people that are doing the talking are scientists. It is very much my preference that if information of a scientific nature is going to be presented, it's presented by the people who are the subject matter experts on the subject. Because
yeah, you don't get a baker to talk about steelwork unless they also happen to do steelwork on the side.
I try to get experts to do the heavy lifting, I guess. And what was the second part of the question?
How do you make it accessible to people watching?
Well, I am the lay audience,
yeah.
So I just look at it from the perspective of, did what that person say make sense to me? And if it doesn't, then I'll do something about that afterwards before we continue with the video. So a lot of my videos consist of a paleontologist saying some stuff and then me coming in and simplifying some of that stuff just to make sure that the audience gets it. And it's pretty easy for me because I don't always get it. So I've got to do the research, find the answers, put it in so that the next person knows.
Do you also say what you're thinking back to them and they can go, yeah, that's right?
Yeah, absolutely. All of the videos that I've ever put out have always gone back to the person who was in the video to make sure that they're happy with everything that I put in there.
That's good.
Otherwise, I could be making stuff up and putting words in their mouth and getting things scientifically wrong and getting someone in trouble.
This dinosaur is called a splangle-fork.
Rex. How would you describe your music style?
I probably wouldn't. I hate trying to put genre labels on things, which sounds pretentious and stupid, but most people would say that music sounds good in a video game, probably because it's like background and forgettable, which is kind of like, ugh, but it's like, yeah, it's probably accurate.
I can confirm it certainly works as background music. I've done a lot of that.
Yeah. Hello.
Uh-oh.
2 yellow ones.
2 for the price of 1. I don't know if we can do that.
Yeah.
That might
I mean,
break.
we can do whatever we want.
That is true. This is not a game show.
It's also a bad astronaut.
Yeah.
Imagine, there's another one like this. Imagine you're given the opportunity to live in any historical time period for 1 year. What time period do you choose and why?
The 90s, because I've already answered this question.
Yeah. I think I'd... Oh, wait. No, you already answered it, yeah. I think I'd like to go back to any time before we had sort of recordable media. I probably wouldn't survive because it'd be like my phone has nowhere to charge anymore. I might get stoned for being a warlock or something.
Yeah, that's true too.
You're a crazy wizard, you must die.
It would be interesting to go back to like Shakespeare's time and see what the music actually sounded like.
Yeah.
Because all we've got is the written version of it, which could mean anything. Yeah. You can take the chords and notes to any song and turn it into
any other song.
Any genre. Like, this is supposed to be a baroque classical piece and now it's metal. If you could only watch one TV show or movie on repeat forever, what would it be?
Probably Futurama, because there's a lot of episodes and quite a lot of them I find hilarious. I'm pretty sure I'd get tired of them, but at that point maybe I'm probably old enough to die. Another yellow one.
Yellow.
What's the strangest talent or skill you have?
Memorizing completely useless poetry.
Really? Can you recite one now?
Yeah. So the oldest poem written in the English language is Cadman's Hymn, which was written in a year that I can't remember, and if I happen to be bothered when I get around to editing this video, I'll put it down there. And it goes something like Nu Shulan Herian Herfenriches where Meltus Magden is Modiathug, where Kuldefader so he wandra he wears Edgestrichen Orun Stelda. He erst chop elde bernum heben til Hrofa Halig Shepen the Midunjer Monkinas where Edgestrichen Orun Stelda. Firum Foldu Freya Ormektig.
That sounds like Scottish, Irish, Welsh, and everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think many of my talents are that strange. I'm really good at cutting pizza.
Someone's got to do it. Just to prove they're all coming out of the same place, in case anyone thinks that it's, rigged. It's not rigged.
It is rigged.
It's completely rigged.
Yeah.
If you were a character in a book, what kind of character would you be?
Probably that background character that's in there for like 3 pages.
Yeah.
Says something silly and then moves on.
Like a literary NPC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could bring one extinct animal back to life, which one would it be?
You're probably thinking I'm going to go dinosaur,
Yeah,
but
I was thinking that.
look, it's tempting, like 100%. I want a dinosaur, but I'm going to go thylacine. Tasmanian tiger. I want to see one. I'll pat one.
Yeah.
I-
If you can get close enough to pat it without
Might
biting
need-
your hand off.
May need to be sedated. It
Yeah.
or me. But yeah, I think thylacine is really
It
cool.
bit my hand and I don't care.
I think they're really cool. They're just awesome animals.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that humans aren't cool and awesome animals and manage to wipe them out along with countless other species. Blah, 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 blah. But, thylacine.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about a specific collaboration or performance that you found to be particularly interesting or rewarding?
I think the most collaborations have been with you, but they stay like in our little bubble on the internet.
Yeah, and they get out there. They just don't, the tendrils don't grow.
Yeah. I think it's rewarding though. It's good having ideas that aren't just mine.
Yeah.
What do you remember about your first steps into music creation?
My first steps into music creation was discovering that I had a piece of software on my computer that allowed me to manually sequence MIDI notes, like just click, 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 click. And everything that I made was awful, but there is something about the music that I made back then that I just cannot recapture now because I didn't know anything, and now I know just enough to absolutely ruin my creativity. Yeah, I remember making some absolutely horrible music, just clicking and clicking.
Yeah.
Putting stuff here and there, and eventually I figured out how chords worked, and then the creativity started to go away. And yeah, that's
Now I'm just like every other musician, making chords.
pretty much always the same chord sequence too. I have
Yeah.
no originality. Have you ever made any lasting friendships or connections through the internet?
This guy, although this is the first time we've met in person.
Yeah, to clarify that, Mike and I have known each other for like 25 years now, and we met like a day ago. So, yeah.
It's been an interesting experience. I've met a lot of people on the internet that way. If you could only eat one type of food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Blueberry muffins.
Blueberry muffins, wow.
I don't know. I feel like there's a practical answer to that won't like put me into an early grave, but I don't. Hamburger. Oh, the more I think about it, the more horrible that question gets.
Yeah. It starts out good. It's like, yeah, I get to eat my favorite thing, and then your favorite thing slowly becomes the thing that kills you.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't take long before you absolutely hate your favorite thing.
Yeah.
One type of food. So you could probably broaden the question out to say like Mexican food
Yeah.
or Thai food or something.
Yeah.
I'd probably go Thai food.
Yeah.
It just has to be something that includes all the ingredients. Like, I'm
Someone doing some casual angle grinding outside.
Yep. Sorry about the background noise.
I'm not sorry. It's brilliant.
I was going to say something and the noises happened. I was reminded of Morgan Spurlock's McDonald's documentary, where it was like there is not enough nutrition on the McDonald's menu to actually sustain a human being. So definitely don't pick McDonald's as an answer to that question.
I can't eat McDonald's, so I don't.
Yeah, you're not missing much. Okay, we have I think we've got 2 yellows and a green left, so I'll go yellow. What is the weirdest conspiracy theory you've ever heard, and do you believe it?
About the moon landing, there's, I don't know, seems like a dumb thing to fake.
Yeah, flat Earth. Seems unlikely to me, having flown around it a couple of times. I have absolutely no reason whatsoever to believe the Earth is anything other than a globe, but you know, do go on. I don't really have any conspiracy theories that I find that interesting. Like, most of them just seem to be based less on the conspiracy theory being compelling and more on the desire of the person who believes in it to believe in something that's contrary to what's already, you know, out there.
Yeah.
It's like it's fashionable now to have an opinion that's contrary. Especially if it's an opinion that's contrary that can't be directly disproved by anyone or yourself. It's like, did we go to the moon? I don't know. I can't go there and tell you.
Yeah.
Therefore, I can put forth this argument that we never went there. It's like, no, you're just being contrary. Because you can be contrary.
Yeah.
Flat Earth can't necessarily prove it one way or the other. You can, but anyway, you're just saying that because you want to be contrary.
Wait, that's for me, so we're gonna have to do 2 yellows.
Oh no, we've broken the rules again.
Imagine you're stranded on a desert island with only 1 book, 1 album, and 1 movie. What are they?
I'm going to cop out on the book, and I'm going to go some sort of really thick survival volume. It's like, give me all the instructions on how to build shelter and make solar panels and, you know, how to make an iPhone out of coconuts.
I don't think that making solar panels would actually help you, because it would be like you have to refine glass and get silicon and all that sort of stuff. You need a phone.
I'm not saying it'll be an easy process.
But yes, I've made a solar panel and then you die.
Yeah, I have no roof to put it on, but I have a solar panel. Movie is going to be Terminator 2 because Terminator 2.
Yeah.
I can't watch it or anything until I build a solar panel, but
You just got it so you can remember the good times.
yeah. And album, that's tough.
Yeah.
Images and Words, Dream Theater.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's a good one.
That's a go-to for sure. But it's kind of like the food question. It's like, I want to pick something that's amazing, but I'm going to get sick of it and I'll hate it. Like, I need to stop overanalyzing these questions.
My book would probably be The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Nice.
Album. Ooh, yeah, that's a hard one as well. I'm going to say OK Computer, because it's Radiohead. And a movie.
Castaway, it's practically a survival guide.
I've never actually watched Castaway, so maybe I could take that and then watch it, and then I wish I'd brought another movie. So the last question?
I think this is the last question.
Stop his brains from falling out further.
Ooh, how has the internet changed before... Start again. How has the internet changed since you first started using it?
Oh, it's just everywhere, which is a good thing, because it's nice, because you get addicted to the internet, and you know, I really have a burning question about a thing, so you can pull out your pocket computer and go boop boop boop, and you find that thing, unless you don't have any reception and it doesn't work.
Welcome to Australia.
Like the old internet where it didn't work. I think, yeah, just the whole advertising thing, it's just super advertising. So that's one change, and the speed.
Yeah, I think normalization of the internet as well. Like, it's gone from being a niche nerdy thing to being something that, you know, everyone and their grandmother must be able to do, often to the detriment of the internet and social media. It's just everyone's way too connected and way too in each other's pockets all the time, and it's not healthy.
Well, that's all we've got time for.
Yeah, that's it. Roll the damn credits. That's any parting thoughts on the ChatGPT YouTube Q&A? That's a lot of letters.
The
experiment.
This was an experiment. Who's the control group?
We are also the control group. I've got another 60 questions. No, I don't have another 60 questions. That would just be...
It would probably end up being the same questions.
It's just the same questions again.
Put them back in and just answer them all again and see if we get the same answers.
That was interesting.
That was some time that we spent.
That is precisely some time that we spent. That is... How long was that? Oh, there we go.
1 hour and 15 minutes.
That was an hour and 15 minutes that we literally will never get back. You know the best part? I now get to go and edit this, and it's going to take a lot longer than an hour and 15 minutes.
Should we say yes and no a few times?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Yes.
What? Let's pixelate everything. Make everything look
pixelated is going to be the worst.
We done? I think we're done.
3, 2, 1.
So that's a thing that happened. If you would like to explore Mike's music, head on over to fraxyl.bandcamp.com and hit the links in the description to follow Mike on all of the various social medias. And if you'd like to support Curiosity Mine, there's also a Patreon now. So there's a link to that in the description as well. Thank you to all of these wonderful people for supporting Curiosity Mine on Patreon so far. This video was made with the help of Fraxyl and the magic of artificial intelligence. If you enjoyed this video, you're probably a very strange person. I'm a little bit concerned about you, but I do recommend that you consider subscribing to Curiosity Mine on YouTube and following along on all of the usual social media channels. The links are in the description. And thank you for watching.